Hello YouTube, it's Matt here with a self-build update, and this week I've been making a set of understair storage cupboards and the doors for them, and I'm going to be talking about inset cabinet doors and what you should and shouldn't do. So I actually haven't fitted these doors yet, that's why there's gaps and they're not put in properly, but you get the idea. So we're going to have a left little mini cupboard here, and then this right hand cupboard will open from there. Actually there'll be touch to open using the Bloom concealed hinge system with the soft close tip point and magnetic. And you can just kind of like push to open and they'll open outwards. And then because it's quite a deep space, we're actually going to segment it into a separate cupboard around here. So this one will go back this far, and that'll be for shoe storage. That little one back there is for electrics and Hoover storage. And then this will be coat cupboard here, so there'll be another door here. Anyway, that's by the by. Today I'm going to talk about inset doors. So the idea with this was we're going to have this will be plasterboarded. And the doors have frames that are inset so that they are flush with the plasterboard. You can't really see that because I've kind of slightly screwed it up there. We have to adjust this frame and pull it out, but that's no biggie. But yeah, the idea is that we'll do that, wood panel this, or maybe just add trims to the plasterboard and paint them, and then panel these with trims as well. I say panel, it's not really panelled doors, they are trimmed doors to look nice. But the problem that I have found with inset doors that go up to a point like this is that they don't open. So I can't really show you except for this jig that I made. You'll see I've cut the top of the door off, and that is because literally, even with a 2mm gap here and here, it didn't open, because what would happen is the back of this would bind on the top of here. It would get about that far and it would stop. So I experimented with doing things like cutting, imagine this goes all the way up to a point, with cutting the back off at an angle. It kind of worked, but I had to get that angle so much that it only left a tiny bit of meat on the top of this tip point here, which obviously that's just going to break off. So it was decided that I would cut the top of the door off, not that much, but quite a lot more to make it look more purposeful. So hence why I have cut this off. That's a bit depressing, isn't it? But yeah, so my tip for you, if you're making inset doors that go to a point like this, is basically don't. You're going to have to flatten it out. And in my case, I've got 18mm MDF doors with a 2mm spacing, and as you can see, even that little bit is enough to make it so that you can open. Now for me, that is too tight a tolerance. So I'll just show you how much I've taken off there. I've taken about 35mm off there? Yeah, about 35-ish off there. And I'm going to make it much more purposeful, so we're going with about 140 off of that one, because it would look a bit rubbish having a tiny little tip. But yeah, 35 just about does it. Obviously the more you take off, the less of a problem it is, because it's further away from the hinge point, which means that yeah, you're less likely to bind. You can see that over down here it's got a lot more of a gap, whereas up here it's got a lot less of a gap when you open it. The gap is hopefully consistent when they're closed. Obviously that's 2mm gap all the way down, but as soon as you open it, you can see that this one is like nearer binding than, I'm trying to get my camera square, that's nearer binding than that is. In fact, it looks like it has bound, but it's just the camera angle. If I go there, you can see it opens. So yeah, inset doors are a great idea because they can give you a nice flush look. And I've actually gone with, this is called Balau, this hardwood, and it is from some leftover decking. We installed some hardwood decking outside, so I had some leftover decking, and actually when it's kind of sanded and oiled, it looks beautiful. You can imagine it does. I think you can just kind of get an idea from just put plasterboard dust all over it, so it's gone a bit white. But if I kind of rub it off like that, you can get an idea. It's actually a lovely wood. So yeah, I've ripped that decking down. That was, I think it was 100mm or even 110mm wide, and I've ripped it down I don't like using the table saw. I've not got into my table saw yet, so I did it with the track saw, very slowly, very slowly, and with a new blade, because this hardwood just eats blades for breakfast. So I ripped it down to 75mm to give enough to bring it flush with the plasterboard here and flush with some plywood that I'll put at the back. I think I might actually have an MDF with a nice veneer, such as walnut, on the inside of this cupboard. Anyway, I digress. My point is, don't do what I did and plan to have to not have this top part if you have inset doors. Obviously, if you have overlay doors that sit over the lot, it doesn't make any difference. You can have whatever shapes you like. But yeah, with inset doors, you either need to have a flat door like that, or you need to have a bit of tolerance, say 2mm, and a cutout like that. There's still an angle to the door, there's still that angle, but the tolerance of 2mm means that it will open the further away you are from that hinge. Anyway, so the plan is to complete this frame with the hardwood, with a piece of hardwood that goes across here. Incidentally, I did had glued this corner, which meant I couldn't just pull this bit of frame out, annoyingly. I glued the corner of the two bits of wood together. So I had to go at this with a laser level and a marking knife for hardwood, and one of these with fine tooth blade, what's called multi-tool, with a fine tooth blade, which was quite nerve-wracking to get that straight, but I think I've done a really sweet job of it. I went very slowly and stopped about 20 times to let the blade cool down, because it just, yeah, I mean, it's bang flat anyway, so I'm quite pleased with that. And then I was able to take this off and cut that with a cross-cut saw. And what I'll do is I'll put another piece across here, resting on the two, screw down there, if I've got enough space, screw down there, and maybe glue it all in as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video.